This episode of the Stickers and Scuffs podcast has been brought to you by Remax Jack. Jack provides a friendly, customer-driven service in search for homes and provides excellent details on the market, values, and trends in buying and selling. Jack has been able to work with Cam on his search and always makes himself available when he has a question. Remax Jack will help you if you're looking to buy or sell a home within the GTA. He's who Cam K trusts to find his next home, and he should be yours too. Remember, call Remax Jack and start to pack. For more information, go to remaxjack.ca.
Hi, this is Mario Andretti, and you're tuned into Cam, Graydon, and the team at Stickers and Scuffs podcast. They're true Canadian racing fans.
Hey everybody, we want to get you back to the episode with the Sutcliffe brothers in just a second, but they did have an omission in their thank yous, and we wanted to make sure that Terp got his big shout out. So they did forget you in the episode, Terp, but they have talked about both Wyatt and Jacob talk about how much of an important figure you are to the race team, and they wanted to make sure that even though it was forgotten at the moment, that we make sure that we mention you. So Terp, thank you so much for all your help. Getting the Sutcliffe Brothers racing team out each and every week, and they couldn't do it without you. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Stickers and Scuffs podcast. Cam K, you Graydon Bunn's a little busy in Barbados this week, so I'm sure he would have loved to do the chat with the Sutcliffe Brothers from his resort, but we weren't going to do that and tease everybody like that would be, but. Jacob and Wyatt Sutcliffe are here, part of the SNS Racing family, joining us once again in 2024. And we're really excited to have both of you guys. Thank you guys for joining us.
We're pumped to have the stickers back on the car and be part of the team. So
yeah. Well, it was an honor for us really to be on the two cars that you guys are out there in the basically we should start calling it the SNS mini stock division, because right now the amount of guys in the mini stock division, the guys and gals in the mini stock division, I don't know what it was, but all you guys just friggin' flew to being on part of the SNS team and wanting to be part of it. And I think we had maybe 3/4 of the field had a sticker on them. So it was obviously an honor. But you guys been racing out at Sunset Speedway, my home track, a little bit farther from home track, is out at Peterborough, I believe, is your home track, right?
Home pavement.
Home pavement.
Yeah. Pavement oval, anyways.
Yes, to clarify. But got to know a little bit about you guys, because we're still relatively new. We've met a couple of times at the racetracks, but I'd love to know kind of where the racing history went and where it started for you guys, because again, we don't know much about the seasons that you guys have been racing and how long it's been. So how far back do we have to go, guys?
A year back.
I was going to say, yeah, you're pretty
Holy
young.
moly.
We're not going back too far, are we?
No, not unless you go back to my dad's days in the 90s, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Really? So, okay.
So when that we were interviewing you boys tonight, that last name rung a bell. So maybe tell us a little bit about who your dad was.
Yeah, so our dad, Tim Sutcliffe, started in enduro racing, and I think he did that in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, late 80s.
And then he moved into Thunder Car at Sunset and ran that for a while, had some success there, and eventually moved up to Challenger, where he won championship in 97. And then sold his Challenger car, which we're all a little upset about.
Yeah.
We're still trying to find it. And then he moved into late model, and he ran a season of late model at Sunset just to sort of get warmed up. And then he moved into the All-Star Series, which is where he ended his racing career.
Wow. I mean, there's history, which is always a cool thing to hear. I mean, we talked about this when we were at I think we were standing in the line to get into Sunset, and you had mentioned, we were talking about the trailer that you guys had, and you said it dates back to, I want to say it has the NASCAR IMAX movie on the side of it.
Yeah. It does. So that was actually our uncle, his name's Mark Sutcliffe, did board games through, was it CSC? I think it was.
No, it was SPG.
Yeah, SPG. So they did stuff for like CSI Miami. They did a NASCAR game. So then my dad's last late model scheme was the NASCAR scheme on the side of it. So
yeah,
when we came back and we ended up coming back with two cars, Y-Man looked at me and said, I get the late model trailer. So
well, so okay. But you guys are both both younger, but when did you guys do any racing before mini stocks, or really?
Maybe the odd go-kart weekend at
the Sega 500,
but never actually, like, no junior lates, no bone stock. Why'd you guys jump right to mini stocks?
Actually, sorry to backtrack a little bit there. When I was like 9 years old, my dad concocted this plan with my uncle that they were going to buy me, at the time it was called a J car.
Yeah.
So they brought it home for like my 10th birthday, and I loved it. I climbed in it, fired it up on the back of the snowmobile trailer we had. But my mom was like, we are not going back racing. You spent way too much money the last time. So she was not about it at all. So then we used to sneak out, and my uncle Jim Godfrey's a sponsor for Coleridge Finnemore.
Mm-hmm.
He worked for the Push Lynch Fire Department. So we would go out, and they would hang out in the back of the truck and set up cones. I would just turn laps for an hour. Hit it like 3 times. Then my dad sold it, and we that was pretty much it. I mean, like we were saying earlier, my first introduction to working in the shop was my dad said, come down. I was 13, turning 14. He's like, come pull apart my old late model so we can put it away and get out of the trailer. Yeah. So I did that, and then we were at Velocity. And Wyatt says, we should buy a car. I was like,
oh, so it's his fault.
Oh, yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Later we went to one of my best friends, his uncle, Scott Tonelli, races the
vintage modifieds.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he races those. And we went to Flamborough, and I was like, okay, we're building a race car. Like, we're sitting at the barbecue, and I'm like, what do I got to do to get you to, like, let us race here? He's like, print out a set of rules, and I have these old books, and if you read the book and you get the rules to me, well, we'll think about it. So I spent hours, the time when I was supposed to be doing my homework in school, I was reading my race car books, and I set a note, and I said, okay, here it is, let's do it. And we started looking for a car.
So
damn, I mean, this is, I love this because this is so opposite from typical, like, racing stories of what everybody we've talked to really recently have all come up kind of the same,
go-karts
or
first bunch of dudes to talk to in quite a while that go-karts.
Yeah. So this is awesome. And so, okay, where did you find the cars, and what's the history behind them? Because that's something I really love to know about, is where they came from, who had them before you, or where they started from.
So this is one of my favorite stories. I love snowmobiling. And at the time, like, Wyatt was super into it, and I was kind of like, that'd be cool driving a race car, but I wasn't completely hooked. And we went to go look at a sled. It was our, like, early Christmas gift, and I was up in Innisfil, and Alan Lincoln at the time was selling his mini stock. So they didn't even tell me. We're on our way back, and Wyatt looks at my dad. He goes, "Let's go look at the car." So we showed up to Allen's at like 9:30 at night, and my dad looked it over, said everything looked good, and we were on our way home. And my dad, we were all looking at each other. We're like, "Okay, how are we gonna tell mom? Like, we're buying a race car. How are we gonna tell mom?" So we were all hooked, and yeah, we made. So my car is Allen's old car, which was, from what I understand, originally Melissa Boland's car. It was her first mini stock. So
That's
we
a special car right there.
yeah, it's a very, very special car. So, but we bought that one, and
Then mine came from the Shaw family. The Shaw family built us a new mini stock. So I got lucky on that one. Jake gets the old car.
I was gonna say you get the Shaw piece. So we obviously know Sunset very well, or at least I have for the last 2 years. Really didn't get into it much until last year, but you guys, man, is it ever a family atmosphere there? You have got so many people, and I seen you guys. I saw Wyatt stuffing his face on the Delaware broadcast. I think it was. And walking by, you guys helping out on the prolates as well for the Shaws, and I think I saw you guys out at Flamborough, and the Wilmans were there supporting you guys.
Yep.
I guess being just a race fan and kind of both taken steps these last 2 years to move away from just being fans, but being involved.
Yeah.
And I think it's also, I don't want to speak too much saying this as well, but like the Pinty series, but you get to learn a lot more about the people behind and the people involved, and how much of a family atmosphere racing is. The fact that you guys have people that you're competing against coming to help you out at another track must say a lot about the people that you're that Sunset has.
Yeah, it's incredible. The family that we've kind of built this year, like you said, the Wilmans, that was it was actually funny. I kind of talked to Doug and Austin a little bit, and there was one night where me and Doug were racing, and I forget, somebody had turned Doug a little bit, like he kind of got bent out of shape, and the flagman thought it was me. So I got out of my car and ran down just to tell him, like, "Hey, I'm so it wasn't me. I wasn't anywhere near yet." And we just built such an awesome relationship with them from there. And my cousin's stepfather is Alan Haringa. It's an old name, but him and Jason Shaw used to race together. So
I feel like I know. Yeah, I think I've heard this name. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the connection.
Yeah. So Alan and my cousin help out Ryan Turner on Friday nights at Oswego.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we kind of left, but we never really left racing. So but yeah, so we were sitting there one night, and I think me and Wyatt flipped back and forth. And I think I jumped in for a heat race, and we didn't quite, get ready for the fact that I'm a little bit heftier than Wyatt and a little bit taller than Wyatt. So the setup changes a little bit when you flip the seats and put a new driver in. So we were struggling, and Alan went down and asked Randy if he could come and give us a hand. And Randy was incredible, came down, and like our carburetor was out of adjustment, and Randy comes down and just helped us out a bunch. And, they've been awesome to us ever since. And we've been trying to keep them around and keep them helping us. So
I remember following Randy Shaw around with a pen and paper.
Yeah.
It's like
A good person to get the notes from. Absolutely.
Yeah, the whole family of there, Dale and Sam and Randy and Jason, and even
now you got Blaze as well.
Yeah.
You got to race against him though, so can't be too nice to him.
Yeah, he's awesome. We have a pretty fun competitive nature between the two of us. So we have fun with them. So they're an awesome crew of people.
So what's on the agenda this winter? I see something on the hoist there behind you. Bob and Wyatt. So
both here. Yeah. So just really, there's a bunch of framework underneath the tin kit that I have some welds I'm not too proud of. So fix those up, and just faster, lighter, better, whatever we can do. Work on freshen the motors up, rings and bearings. Just general maintenance, right? Keep them together. Make sure they're not blowing up.
Well, and so the season that was, So you guys been so this past year was it rookie seasons for you guys, or is it the year before?
We actually have a bit of a debate about this because we don't actually know how many races we ran the year before. Like it was maybe 2 or 3, I would say at most 4 for me and 3 for Wyatt. Like it wasn't many. We had a motor go on us in the middle of summer last year, and that was kind of kaput. Mom kind of cut the budget off for us. So, the smart decision. So then we rebuilt and came back this year. So I would consider it my first full race season this year. So.
Okay, so I got to hear from both of you guys how you felt it went. Obviously, Spring Velocity was a good one. But if I remember correctly, that was probably the most chaotic mini stock race.
Yeah.
And it's not something I think the field wants to be known for when you have such calamity, but I don't think you would take it back, would you?
Oh no. I completely willed into it, but I wouldn't take back a second of that race. I don't know how I got around some of them. I was right there, but it was just lucky. And then me and Doug, Doug Butler, obviously, you know him. He's an awesome guy. He boosted my confidence, but I meant what I said in that interview. I think 2 or 3 more laps, and I had just blown about every corner on the place. So I was so nervous. So yeah.
Well, and that's I mean, we saw Wyatt out there a couple of times this year getting the lead. And I'm not familiar as such with the way that the lineups are kind of done. It's there's like some math involved, and that's really not what I'm here for. So,
or neither one of us are.
So you did get out there, Wyatt, for a couple of times, and you did get out there and led some laps. I mean, we did see you get the lead and lose the lead. I think you'd spun in that case, and I had to bring it up. You knew I would bring it up, right? But then that's again a far cry from the first time we had met, where your car, I can't remember what had gone on with it, but you weren't even able to take the feature because of mechanical issues. So to go from not even starting to then being able to lead laps, I mean, obviously this is something that the format really does give. I mean, I think you and Madison maybe were starting up at the front for that race, or maybe she was in the first 2 or whatever. It gives you experience that you would probably maybe not get right away if you were doing pole positions and fastest laps or whatever. So how do you feel the format is?
I like it. I like the letting other people start up front, right?
Mm-hmm.
It helps, makes the race interesting, right? Like watching the fast guys go from the back, like watching Doug and Ty Seaboyer and all those guys run up from the back, like makes for a really interesting race for the fans. And even just giving me the experience of being up front and what it's like to lead a race for a few laps before I spin myself out. But
mechanical failure.
Yeah.
Of course. So I thought we saw there was a lot of moisture on the track at that point. So, there's a big wet spot that definitely played a role.
Walk away with the race, so I threw fuel out just so we'd slip on it. So,
but I mean, again, it gets, like you said, it gets you guys up at the front of the field, mixing it up with people, and I mean, it's an experience that I guess you don't always get to have. The field itself in the mini stock division at Sunset last year, why I think I fell in love with it is because it is so competitive.
Yeah.
For a long period of time, though, those divisions really did struggle. However, you guys had a solid year. I want to say there was at least 20 cars in most of the season, with it maybe even as high as 24 or 25 at some point. Do you expect that that's going to continue, or do you think we're going to lose some cars? I mean, based off of what I see right now, it looks like a lot of people are coming back.
Yeah, I think it's going to continue for sure. I mean, from what I hear and what I see on like Facebook and social media and stuff, it sounds like a lot of guys are coming back, which is awesome. And I mean, good racing brings good people back, right? Like near the end of the year, we were super clean, it was super competitive, door to door. Like we weren't like it was great. It was so much fun, like most fun I've had ever.
And we're not demolishing cars at the end of the day. Sure.
Right? There was work on Monday.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And I think we can talk about this till the cows come home, that there is some series that, I mean, Delaware this year, how many cars got absolutely demolished in the late model division, in the super stock division? I mean, it's nice that you're coming home with cars that are still repairable. I mean, because you guys do all the work on the cars too, right? So it's a little bit different from, say, Pinty's operations, where maybe they don't have to do all the work on the cars.
Yeah, well, it's nice too. I mean, I have no issue with banging out a fender or something like that. But when you talk about putting a clip on, and especially for a mini stock team, it's a little more difficult. There's a little, there may not be as much involved as there is in a late model or a super stock, but it's still an awful lot of work to do between Saturdays, right? So
Yeah.
I definitely agree with Wyatt too. I hope a lot of people will come back that were there last year. I mean, we had a blast between racing with, like racing with the D&T, the Moes, the Shaws, the McGlashans, even when, watching Doug and Ty blow by us all the time was pretty fun. So it'll be nice to try and keep up with them. But it's a blast. I mean, you're adding, from what I hear, Ryder White's coming. That's a really talented kid. I mean, me and Blaze were at the first timers race. We were out watching Wyatt, and we're looking at the race monitor, and man, that kid can wheel. He's running 16 ones, and that's a really competitive time for, so he's got a lot of talent.
He does have the weight advantage, though. We will have to say that. He does have the weight advantage.
Yeah.
Whereas, some of us bigger fellows would weigh those cars down.
Yeah.
He's got to be careful to keep that car to make sure it sits on the ground because of how light things are. But I mean, that's the other side of it too. You got men, women. You had Layla out there racing with you guys at 14, Ryder at 13. Wyatt, you're, I think, 17 years old racing, but then you guys are racing up against guys that are, extremely experienced, that have multiple championships, and they're racing still in the mini stock division. I mean, like a guy like Doug Butler, where, I mean, you can go back 10 years, he's still racing and
still winning,
winning in that same car as well, winning championships, going back to Barrie Speedway. And so technical guru about a lot of these vehicles. I'm curious if he's got any questions regarding the specs or what goes into the mini stock division.
Well, yeah, kind of, because I don't make it at the Sunset a whole lot, and I'm not going to lie, to make it at Frank Weekly Racing later this year, so I'm not too familiar with what's going on. So tell me a little bit about your shocks, your tires, that kind of stuff.
So basically, looks right at me, eh? So
I fixed the damage. He knows the technical stuff. He read the books.
So really, it's just a lot of stock stuff, like stock shocks. We can have modified springs, like different rates and all that fun stuff. Stock sway bar. A lot of the modification goes into the motor, and I mean, yeah, it's the custom fab chassis. Like, it's not we didn't pull it off the street, right? So
okay.
That's one of the big things about mini stock, like being in a full chassis car, right? That was one of the main draws for us to go right into mini stock, was because we could learn the racing aspect, which is what the racing family has been so great for, being patient with us, and also learning the car, learning what goes into building and making it faster and all that fun stuff. So,
and about the tires that James, what type of tires you guys running on these?
We run the Azeni 660s. So they're kind of like they're a street tire as well.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be 200 tread wear. So there's a lot that goes into it. It's kind of hard to get stagger and stuff like that out of them. But that's kind of half the fun, half the challenge in it is, playing with your tire pressure and stuff like that. I mean, we're not making bump stop adjustments like a late model, but we're trying to get the basics down to hopefully get there one day, which is the other draw that took us right to mini, was that we could hop in a rear wheel drive car.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
I'll
say to you two young lads, that's a pretty ballsy move to go right away. No go-karts, nothing. So
yeah, we found it out the hard way. I think one of my favorite mini stock stories was my very first heat race ever. Just by how I drew my number, I started pole. So no experience at all. My dad looks at me and he goes, "You're just gonna send it, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Why not?" And like lap 2, I got loose coming out, let out of the gas, and as we all know, in a rear wheel drive car, you just turn right towards the wall. knocked the wind out of myself, climbed up on the wall a little bit, came back down, and scared the absolute bejeebies out of my mom. And she was watching me come down the front stretch. So
First night there, and the guy climbs the wall.
Well, you did it in style.
That's a way of looking at it.
I mean, that's the one thing that I absolutely love about these types of stories with weekly racing, because I mean, after a while, when we start doing the same, these racers or Xfinity racers, it's kind of all the same story, right? And having two guys that come from completely different racing history coming in, you guys found success this year. Like there's no debating that you guys had successes in those cars, and that the field obviously is so dear to my heart, because for whatever reason, mini stocks just became the shit for me. Like it was, as soon as we got there, I'm like, holy crap, I love this so much. And because you guys are going 3 wide, you guys are passing left, right, and center. You got Doug and, like you said, Doug and Ty literally flying through the field. But then you also have the lap traffic that also gets involved and makes it so much fun. But Sunset is one of those places that I very much question how it changes. Because as somebody who's just a fan, and I say that I've never driven, I've never been in a race car, I've never done any of that stuff. I still don't get how week to week the same people don't just murder everybody. But that doesn't happen, because it seems like every week somebody is better. And to me, it blows my mind. How is it that you guys set these, or what changes do you guys make to these cars week to week that you are able to, and how do they change, I guess, week to week as well? Because like you said, like I was saying, some people are like Doug and Ty, sure, they're always fast, but then everybody else seems to be they interchange. So what is it that you guys have to do week in and week out? Is it based on temperature, weather? Like, how does that change throughout the season?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things with Sunset that we learned this year is that if your car's like really good in the day, the track tightens up a boatload at night when the sun goes down. So for me, a big thing going into feature time was learning how much to like back off certain adjustments going into the feature, so that the car, I could actually, handle the car and drive. Which is honestly, it was a blast. And again, with weekly racing at the same place every weekend, it really helped. So like, when we traveled to like when I went and raced at Colors and we did Frost Fest with each other, like it helped, but it's a completely new environment. Like I was telling Wyatt, I think the first time I came off from practice, I was like, dude, you should have brought your car. This place is so fun. Like it's just a total blast. It's just so different from Sunset in certain aspects of it, right? Like it was,
A lot of it goes into just experimentation during the week. Like, why don't we try this wedge number? Why don't we try this tire pressure? What'll this change? And just trying different things, right? Like that's why you have some weeks where you're top of the board, you're doing great, and then you try something, and the next week you're back at the back of the pack.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's just trying new things, finding new ways to make the car fast and new ways to make it more interesting.
Yeah, I think that's. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Everyone kind of runs something different too. So it's not even really like you can go to a competitor or someone else in the pits and ask for a setup or whatever.
Yeah.
So like you guys are saying, you're having half the fun just getting in the shop and figuring out the pits before feature time. Yeah, that's badass. It's awesome, man. It's so much fun. We have some really great crew that came and helped us out too. It was, when we sent both the cars out to the Shaws and they did an excellent job on the cars, but we got bare frames back in like January. We were sitting here, the three of us were like, we're not even going to make opening night with one car. So then we just messaged friends and, kind of put together a little bit of a crew, and they came in and spent their Saturdays, Sundays, Wednesdays, Thursdays here. We just had a blast and built them. But then half the fun, I think, for all of us coming into this year was just seeing like the success that came and, trying stuff in the shop. And, you'd have one guy that make a suggestion. You're like, yeah, you know what, let's give it a shot. And it would work. And then, the next weekend he's on beers because he made another one and it didn't work out so well. So that was half the fun as well too. Right. So,
Well, it's one of those things that we as part of the podcast, we absolutely love seeing different racers and getting to know them. One of the things that we were really privileged to do was to meet you last year, and I think it was I don't believe it was season opener that we had actually interacted, but that Jacob, you would send a message to me, and we met at the racetrack. And as somebody who has social anxiety, it's very difficult for me to actually meet people, but you guys made it incredibly easy. And there's some people that we just go, yeah, we want to support those guys. And you guys made it really, really easy for us. And we're really excited that you're going to be back with us. You'll be back now and added as a Jomo Media driver as well. To be part of the elusive club that gets to be represented by both of us.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about both of you guys, having you guys on the car. So, and thank you again for saying that. Really appreciate it. Really means a lot to us. So we
want to give you guys the opportunity right now. And I told you guys to prepare for this because a lot of racers screw up and they forget. And we've had a couple people that have forgotten the wife, that have forgotten the girlfriend, that have forgotten their mother, that have forgotten the sponsor names. So this would be the opportunity. We'll see how they do. Because, like we said, they're still really new at this. Drivers, and you like DJ Kennington, friggin' can't forget. You just talk to him once, and he talks to a Castrol. So, we gotta see here how the boys do. So we gotta give you a moment to shout out the partners for Sutcliffe Brothers Racing, and then any thank yous that you guys have for people that are helping you out, because they're the ones that get you to the racetrack, as you mentioned, each and every week.
Really want to thank Autotech. Obviously, it's where we are, right? It's where we do all our work, and thanks to our parents for being so supportive throughout everything, and letting us have this dream and really scope it out. McMillan Motorsports, Dave and Brian, they've been great. Like just a guy who really loves the sport. Like there's nothing better than that. Reacher Landscaping is one we've taken on fairly recently. They're a company out of Georgetown. Yeah. And Bergsma Home Improvements, another company we've taken on. They're out of Georgetown as well.
No. So Elliot's actually, he's become a bit of a friend of ours, and he came and watched us race a couple of times. I think one of my quick favorite moments of Elliot was him and his wife made up signs. And it was go fast and turn left. And one was a picture of my face, like my driver profile on Sunset. The other one was Wyatt's. So, but he owns a home improvement company. They're out of Aurelia. So they're jumping on with us for next year, which we're really excited about. Same with Kirk and Reedstra. And then
not a sponsor, just someone who's let me use their facilities a whole bunch. Wickens Industrial in Milton there, the Millwright company, who I work for in the summer. And they were great, let me stay late and use the lathe and all the big special tools that we don't have here. Like Kyle was great with me, and I really appreciate all their help. And
then I think some of our special thank yous were we've got our crew down here. So we have Sarah Ufkis and Mason Jantz, Matt Jantz, Gary Churchill, my dad. I promised these guys I would say this. My co-crew chiefs, Cameron Bowers and Stephen DePuter. They're two guys that come down, and they were pretty consistent all summer. Everybody came to the track and helped us out there, but Steve and Cam would come down the shop and help us, fix our mistakes from the weekend before on the track. So they were awesome guys. I want to say a special thank you to Joel and Sandra McDonough. Joel is our head chef at the track and one of our head sheet metal guys back at the shop. So, and his lovely wife Sandra and my mom prepared the meals for us on the weekends all the time. So they're awesome. I want to thank our sister. She films all of the races for us, her and her girlfriends when they come. So it's always cool to do, we grew up playing hockey. One of my favorite things to do is watch game film. So that's always really helped me out. And then obviously our mom. She's a pretty awesome supporter. Yeah. So she'll always have the C and D pillars on the cars for thank you, Mom. So that was awesome. And then just the Shaws, really, they've been awesome to us. Jason and Randy and Dale, and as much as this kills the same, Blaze has been pretty awesome to us as well. Yeah. And Sam Shaw as well. They've always been supportive and kind of giving us a kick in the butt when we needed it as well. So
And,
thank you to them.
The Wilmans too, like
Yeah.
Cheyenne and Carly and Austin and Doug, like they've been great. They've always been there. Always great to have a friend to talk to at the racetrack. Like they've been great with us too. So
Well, you guys did pretty good. I don't know. I think that's a pass. That's a pretty good pass. Next time we're going to do it without the list. But I mean, this is what's cool too, is that we get to invite people on here that don't get the opportunity to typically get interviews and have, you know, an episode dedicated to them. But we're honored that you guys have us on the race car, and that was a new relationship that we put together at the track last year. And there's no bigger thrill as race fans to get to see your logo on a race car, but to see it on people that you're big fans of, it means even more. So you guys are part of the team. You're part of the Jomo team for this year as well. So we're really excited. We got a lot of, hopefully, some big stuff happening at Sunset this year. It seems like they're continuing to do an amazing job. And obviously, we want to wish you guys the best of luck in 2024. Thank you guys for coming on the show. I think right now Wyatt's killing the hair game compared to you, Jacob.
It's coming back. I promise. It's coming back for next year.
I said to Wade, I told Jacob the other day how good he had the hair going, and he goes, "Oh, you're gonna hate this, but I cut it all off." I said, "You did what?" I said, "I'm trying to match you, man. I'm trying to get the flow going as well, and I'm trying to get the Wyatt flow going." And friggin' Jacob goes through and just butchers it. So
everything you do for the racing community,
thank you guys.
have really changed.
Hey.
The aspect of what goes on at the track, and you make it more fun, right? Like watching the coverage. It's up there, man. Like it's awesome. So
thank you guys very much, and it's awesome. Thank you for having us on. It was a really cool opportunity, and me and Wyatt were definitely pretty fired up when we got the message from you. So thank you very much.
Well, it won't be the only time. We'll definitely be having some interviews at the racetrack this year for sure. And one thing I've got to
wait till you meet Graydon. Have you met Graydon yet?
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. They've met Graydon, all right.
Awesome.
He's more. You talk about excitement. There's a guy that's got a buttload of. We got to rein him in sometimes, but you know, it's a thrill. It's a thrill for us to be able to do it, and you know what, we're really hoping to see even more for Sutcliffe Brothers Racing in 2024. And best of luck to you guys.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you, boys. Best of luck, eh?
Thank you very much.
Take care.